Hey, welcome back to the Hometown Hustle podcast. And today, Lawton, Robin, and I are talking to none other than local country music star Gretchen Owens. Now, Gretchen was born and raised here in Southern Oregon and shares with us some great stories about working on her family's cattle farm, setting some records as a college basketball star, and also recording her own album and even getting to sing on stage with Keith Urban. Now, in addition to performing locally with her band, the Jake Breaks, Gretchen really enjoys her time as a special education teacher while also being a loving mom and the supportive wife of a local law enforcement officer. Now, for those who don't know Gretchen, she is quite the character and incredibly funny, so buckle up, this one is going to be fun. I'd like to get right into it. Oh. So, I brought you a gift. Mm-hmm. You brought me a gift. You brought me some shirts or a shirt and some stickers. Mm-hmm. You didn't know that I had podcast guests, but I brought you a gift because I did some research.
Who's your researcher? Does his name start with the D and N? Start with the D and ends with an Ani?
It starts with the D and ends with an Ani. So Donnie, thank you. So this is for you.
Oh,
all right.
Thank you.
Would you like some? Because I know it's 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. But
God.
So I have some seltzers too, and of course you can't have whiskey and seltzer without
a lime.
A lime.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Lawton has to go back to work, and so he's not having any whiskey, and then I'm not supposed to have any alcohol until August 19th, so I'm going to pass today.
Okay.
But
so I'm drinking alone?
No, Robin's going to have one with you.
Okay.
He said that he didn't want one, but he said
I do love me some Pendletons.
What are you doing, like a hard 75?
Yeah, more like a hard 9 months, so
Oof.
It's 7 months. So I haven't had alcohol since...
A lot longer than any normal person would have.
I haven't had any alcohol since January 29th. Is that when that was?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, hello.
Good on you.
Yeah, sure.
Ice cubes. Just the old squares.
I like those. I have some. I have the silicone things. Ooh, I don't know if I could go that. Some people are like, oh, you could do it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know if I could between my job and...
Yeah, since I've not been drinking, I honestly don't miss it.
That's what a lot of people say.
But it's not like a big staple in my life either. So.
Are you going to cut that right on the table here?
It's wood.
But
wood. Still.
Okay, use one of these.
Good idea.
Damn, that's like the same knife he uses to clean out his fingernails and cut off warts.
That's gross, dude.
You cut off warts?
I mean, what do you do with a pocket knife?
You don't cut off warts.
Probably open envelopes, maybe at most.
That's what my.
Are you okay with that? Otherwise, I got to run to the kitchen and get it.
But frickin' just cut the damn lime.
Yeah, she's like, give me my whiskey already.
Last night.
Yeah, the whiskey will clean it right out.
Do you know where I'm from?
Glendale.
Yeah, say Glendale, right?
Usually it's like your pocket knife. You've gutted a deer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Gutted a deer, fix your tire.
And it's fine. You wipe it off on your pants and you keep going.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Cheers. Oh.
Good job, Bafano.
Sorry, I got to get this dead skin off my hand.
That is damn delicious.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's my go-to every day. I shouldn't say every day, but I drink.
All right. So now that we got drinks poured, and we are rolling right now, so we're doing this. But now that we got drinks poured, I was told that I should tell you that it's not appropriate to say tits on air, but we just said tits on air. So sorry, Donnie, it's too late. So
Donnie told you that?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Donnie pulled a number when we played at the casino last year. He can eat a dick.
Yeah.
My dad told him he had no hair on his nuts.
He told me to ask you about this fast one that they pulled on you.
Yeah, it was horse shit.
So let's talk about this. I want to hear about this fast one they pulled.
I was up getting ready, and before that, so Glendale is where my parents live. It's only like 15, 20 minutes most away from the casino. And so my parents had the guys over for tacos before and their families, so whoever. And so I was up getting ready and upstairs, and they were downstairs, and apparently they were talking about Donnie just starting to play the bass line for first it was going to be like Brick House, and then it was going to go into play that funky music, White Boy. And Donnie's like, yeah, something about like he's thought about it. And my dad's like, Donnie, you don't have a nutsack if you don't pull that on her tonight. And Donnie's like, fuck you, Andy, it's on. Can we say the F word?
We can say whatever we want. It's okay.
And so literally in the middle of the show, after one of the songs, Donnie starts playing it, and I just turn around and I looked at him and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then my guitar players are like, here we go. And I'm like, I don't even know all the words. I'm like in my mic and I'm like Googling. I'm like, hold on. My band thinks they want to catch me off guard, but they can't. So I freaking pulled up the words and we partied, and my dad was cracking up, and Donnie's like, oh, you can thank your dad for that one. And I'm like, yeah, well, piss off. So it was funny, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to happen again. But
That's awesome. You guys probably have a great chemistry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. We actually just had dinner at Donnie and Tiana's house this week to put our set list and our show together for concerts in the park.
Yeah.
Well, concerts at the fairgrounds.
Concerts at the fairgrounds,
Coming
yeah.
up.
Yeah. They're working on that. Lawton and I are on the chamber board, and we're
Good.
Yeah, we're working
I'm
on
happy
that.
to
So,
hear
yeah.
about that. I think there's a lot of people that want to see it go
Yeah.
back to the way it was.
Of course. And you probably know that the city's working on building a permanent stage there too, which
I heard about that, and
Yeah. you're hesitant.
I have very mixed feelings about it, only
Yeah.
because it's like I can't even take my kids to the splash pad there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I remember when it like first opened, my son, he was only like 2 or 2.5, and we went a lot that summer. Now it's like there's no way in hell you're gonna catch me going there. Plus it's
Yeah.
like all my husband's clients are probably down there.
Yeah. All my husband's clients.
Yeah.
Gretchen's husband is a sheriff deputy.
Yeah, I
Not
saw that.
not anymore.
Not anymore?
He actually works down here now. He's Josephine County parole and probation.
Oh, cool.
So it changed, but it's it's been great for our family because he was up in Douglas County. So
Yeah.
he was actually patrolling all of South Douglas County. So
Yeah.
like Glendale, Myrtle Creek,
Yeah.
Riddle. And it's rough.
Yeah.
It's sad. But he's down here now, but it's way better for our family.
Yep.
Our boys, he has holidays off, he has weekends off, he never has to work nights. The worst he has to do is answer his phone and be like, okay, yeah, go ahead and arrest him. I'll get the paperwork done on Monday. You know? But
Awesome.
it's been great for our family.
Yeah.
And for him, his overall mood. I feel like he doesn't constantly have to like be looking over his shoulders because, it's crazy.
Is that for real then? And he's like,
What do you mean?
like paranoid?
No, he's not paranoid, but I just feel like it was way more high stress when you're having to, make stops with people that are part of the cartel, and you're having to bust grows where the cartel, manages. And
Yeah.
just there's some bad dudes out there that people don't really realize are kind of walking amongst us. And he wants his family to be safe. And so
Sure.
he was on high alert quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Surprise,
I'm sure you
surprise.
can call somebody down at the city. They'll take you for a ride along.
How long was he on patrol?
Almost 9 years, and then he got hired. Actually, his start date was he got to extend his leave time, so he actually tested positive for COVID. So he used like basically all of his sick time that he had with Douglas County, because they wouldn't like pay him out, and it wasn't going to roll over. And so he had that and used his maternity leave, and then he started down here in April. We had our second son on 2/2/22, and so then Justin started. He went back to his first day of work at a new job, so he got hired like right at the end of my pregnancy. It was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Great timing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out
9
good.
years of patrol, you get over it at some point.
Yeah.
You do, and he said it's just with the different laws and everything that's kind of come down from the state. It's not the same anymore, and people don't realize that like police officers, they want something to happen to for instance, here with our homeless problem and all the transients, but it's like
It's not that easy. Yeah.
our patrol, like our police officers, their hands are tied.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's not like they sign up to be like, hold on,
Yeah.
can't do anything, you know? So, so it got tough, but we'll see. He has some big dreams and aspirations for his career here in the future. And so we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, there's a lot of movement that can be made in that job, so that's pretty cool. Well, good for him. That's exciting, and it's always nice to have a better situation for your family.
Yeah,
of course.
totally.
Yeah, to go in the right direction.
Yeah. It allows him to race his jet boat now. He got to race his marathon jet boat
Nice.
when they had the Northwest Speed Week through here, and that's always been his dream. And so he was out there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That
Did he race at Boatnick?
Yep.
Yeah.
The A162 Guns and Hoses, because he was in law enforcement, and his navigator, who actually married us, is a firefighter. So that's why they're Guns and Hoses.
That's awesome. That's a great name for a boat. Guns and Hoses. I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We're in it, but for those who aren't familiar with who you are, tell us a little bit about who you are. And the reason why we had you on here was because, you're like a local country music star.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Yeah. But just tell us who you are, just a brief overview of where you're at right now in your life, and let's unpack that a little bit.
So I'm Gretchen.
Otherwise known as Gert.
Yeah.
Before I get you going, where does Gert come from?
Well, I'll tell you.
Good.
Growing up, my cousin couldn't say Gretchen. He would call me Gretchen, and so they dropped the chin and left with Gert. And my mom had a grandma that was Grandma Gert, so it was
Grandma
just
Gert.
fitting. But yeah, I've been born and raised in down here in Southern Oregon. I was born here because Glendale doesn't have a hospital, but raised in Glendale. My family has a trucking company up there. We also have a ranch that we run cattle on, so I grew up doing that whole thing, helping run cattle. They still do it. It's like we have 4 generations of Owenses, a family up there still running it, still a part of it, still a part of the business. And then I went to Glendale High School, was a 3-sport athlete. I knew I wanted to pursue music, but I also knew that I wanted to play sports in college super bad. And so I actually ended up playing 4 years of college basketball. I graduated from Linfield College. When I was at Linfield, my sister had a little guy who he was 2 years and 7 months to the day, and he passed away. He was special needs. That was my junior season, and at that point, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do as far as, like, I would love to be a PE teacher, but at that time, it was the recession, and, like, at small schools, PE and health teachers were kind of getting nixed because they weren't exactly needed for the core classes, and so then I thought,
stupid.
Yeah, I know. So then I kind of thought, okay, well, maybe if I, get a major in English or history or something like that, then maybe later on I'll go back and get a degree for special education, because my nephew, he was special needs. And so that's when I kind of opened the door of that thought for myself. Went to Nashville in between my junior and senior year, recorded a demo, came home, told my mom and dad I wanted to move to Nashville, didn't want to finish my senior year at college, and they're like, you'll regret that for the rest of your life. So I went to college for my senior year, and then, which they would have been very spot on about that. Then when I was done, I had a manager. We went through a bunch of songs. I had 12 songs. We went back to Nashville, and I actually recorded my album on Music Row at Jay's place. Super cool guy. Him and his wife. His wife has sang for some big names. He's done, some big time recording. Great people. Came back here, kind of found a band, did a bunch of gigging. And then I just kind of figured, like, this is great. I know that I want music to be a part of my life. It's just, I got to find some other way to make a little bit more money. Like, I got to do something else too. Mm-hmm. So that's when I got the opportunity to go get my master's. So I got my master's in special education. And then I got hired. I wasn't even, I mean, I was in my program. I didn't even have my teaching license or anything. I was planning on doing my student teaching at Glendale. Mm-hmm. I was going to take over the women's basketball program over there and coach. And then I started dating my now husband. And long story short, some people were talking and, oh, what's Gretchen up to? And his mom, who's the office manager, was like, oh, she's doing this. And they're like, well, we really need a special ed teacher. And so long story short, my professors were like, hey, we think you should take this opportunity. I'm like, I haven't even stepped in a classroom yet. Like, I don't even know what that's all about.
Right.
And so they're like, no, that'll be supported. So long story short, that was 9.5. This year will be my 10th year teaching. So I've been at Grants Pass High School in the resource room as a special education teacher. I work with some of the coolest people. John Musser to be one.
Yeah.
Muss, he was the old
football coach.
Yeah. And great mentor to have. So yeah, and I still kind of took a break here and there with my music just because I'm a mom now to 2 boys, and that's my favorite role I think I've had yet.
Yeah.
And it just takes time.
Of course.
And being a wife and just doing fun things with our family, and not saying that, I would never like to try again with my music. I'm always gonna have thoughts and things that I want to try, and then I'm gonna try, and connections that I'm gonna try to explore more with that. But in the meantime, we're just living it up here in good old Rogue Valley. And so yeah, I mean, that wasn't really a Reader's Digest version. Sorry about that.
Well, that's it. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in the summers, this weather's been so weird. It's like, I feel like would have already been on the river, like, for multiple weekends. We have a jet boat that we take out. My husband has a need for speed, so our pleasure boat goes like 78 miles an hour, and it's a 5-seater. So we just load it down and take our boys, and we go down the river and just spend it on the riverbanks. That's our favorite thing to do as a family.
Yeah.
So
that's a big thing for a lot of people to do around here.
Yeah, so, totally. Our favorite place is to go down to Agnes and to go down that stretch of river, like over towards Gold Beach. It's amazing over there. And most of those sandy beaches you can't get to unless you have a boat. So it's just way better.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Kayla Reinhardt works in this office.
I know that.
Yeah, and so she talks about that also too. She loves that Agnes area. And Jesse, her husband, and Justin obviously have a lot in common. So.
Oh yeah, Justin, he broke down right in front of us on Memorial Day where we were watching, and Justin threw his drink, threw his phone to somebody, jumped in the water. Got Jesse's tools, messed with the spark plugs, put them back in, fired up, and Jesse, he finished the race after that. So it was like a NASCAR pit crew right there.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It was sweet. Yeah.
So not this last Memorial Day, but the Memorial Day before that, I have some friends who have a house down on the river.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were down there, and Jesse popped the hole in the bottom of his boat, like right in front, like he pulled over, like literally right in front of their house. And he we're like pushing his boat out of the river, and I'm like, hey buddy, and he goes, oh hey, how are you? Like,
do you have a cold beer?
Yeah,
I need one now.
I didn't have any beer for him, but he turned down the beer, but I went and got him a really bad hot dog. I got a burnt hot dog.
Yeah, we actually, when we were over there, because he also is the navigator in a marathon jet boat. And so when we were just over in Gold Beach, we actually stayed in a cabin at the same campground and hung out with him a bit one night. And so, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Riggs loves Kaysen, their son Kaysen, because him and Riggs I coached their basketball team this year, and Kaysen was on our team. So him and Riggs are homies.
Yeah, they were in here yesterday. Kaysen's pretty cool. Their whole family's pretty cool. So their daughter Reese is like literally like a few days younger than my son.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're like almost identical in birthdays. So
Yeah, she's a spitfire. I love that.
yeah, pretty cool.
Because it's like I look at her and I'm like, well, if I had a girl, it would be this times 10. So
Yeah.
thank God the good Lord blessed me with 2 boys.
Yeah, for sure. So you wrote in your questionnaire that you got to sing with Keith Urban. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me that story. What happened there?
So I was down in Los Angeles to re-record a bunch of my vocals for my album. Because in Nashville, it's weird the way geographically, like the city sits. Like a lot of people lose their voice when they go there. And so when I went there, my voice was just like raspy. I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So my manager lived down in LA. And so we were down there recording. Well, my parents are big involved in it's called the ATA, the American Trucking Association. Like my dad, he's way involved with the Oregon Trucking Association, the OTA here in Oregon. And so the ATA, they always have this big convention every year in a major city. And so that year it was going to be in Vegas. And I was like, hey, like I've never even been to Vegas. And so my parents are like, hey, we'll just get you a flight to hop from, I think I went to the Burbank airport and hopped on over to Vegas and hung out with them for a couple of days. Because I'll tell you, like most people are like, oh, I'm not going to party with my parents. And I'm like, I called my parents my roommates when I lived back at home. Like, yeah. They're good. They're fun. And so we're in Vegas and we had to go like the Freightliner dinner. Freightliner, they make, okay, you guys know them. Yeah. Okay. So they always
Robin
have.
probably doesn't, but yeah. But Lawton's from Klamath.
Google it.
So.
Oh my God, you're from Klamath, okay.
Klamath.
Well, I got stories about some schools over there.
Kentucky.
Yeah, well, it's something. Anyways.
Back to Freightliner.
So they always put on this really fancy dinner, and it's like red carpet. You have no idea where you're going. The invitations, like an invitation has to cost like $100 or something. Like just, it's crazy. There's always some crazy entertainment, but they don't tell you who it's going to be. You never know who it's going to be until they walk out on the stage. Mm-hmm. And so you have cocktail hour, and they have like the ice sculptures and hors d'oeuvres and free open bar and all this stuff. And so we're at that, and like you have to be really dressed up. And so I'm in like this freaking little black dress and heels, which I had no business wearing because anybody that knows me knows that
you're from Glendale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better off in cowboy boots.
And I have way bad ankles from basketball. So we're having, dinner, sitting around. It's like a freaking 27-course dinner and all the things. And then the owner from Freightliner, he's, I believe he's German. And he gets out there and he's talking, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, here you go, and here's your entertainment for tonight. And he like puts a quarter in like a jukebox or whatever. And here he comes, and it's freaking Keith Urban. And I'm like, no shit. Yeah. And like, here you have just like a bunch of people that I'm like, nobody in here freaking appreciates this. Like, I'm a huge country music fan. Keith Urban is one of the most badass guitar players. The guy can shred anything. He's so good.
Super talented, yeah.
Yeah. And so I just like
stood up and got up on stage.
No, I was up there.
Took another rip of that Pendleton and just hopped up on stage.
Well, believe it or not, I wasn't hammered when it happened. The video's
believe it or not.
The video's on YouTube. There's a video on YouTube. Somebody got it all.
Okay.
And so we did this like competition. So by then, like more people like gathered around the stage, and I'm like, yeah, get your asses up here. Like he's trying to have a good time. Don't just sit your butt around your freaking round table.
Yeah.
That's not fun for anybody who's an entertainer. Get your ass up and party. So we're partying, and the song was Kiss a Girl. His song Kiss a Girl. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna pick I think he picked like 4 people. He's like, I'm gonna come up here and you're gonna sing the chorus with me. And so of course I'm just like doing this one, just jumping up and down. And the people behind me are like, pick her, she's a singer. And he's like, all right, baby girl, come on. He tries to like pick me up, and I'm like, he's like, go around the side. So I was wearing like a mini skirt. It was horrible. And so I get up there, I kicked my shoes off because I had already like rolled my ankle in them. And so I'm up on stage, and I'm just like partying, and all my friends that watched the video, they're like, you were hammered. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. If Keith Urban pulled you up on stage like that, you'd have the adrenaline rush of a lifetime, and you would just be shitting your pants.
Yeah.
So then it was my turn. And the first couple people, though, that like sang, I was like, oh God, they can't hear. They are tone deaf. And then they let me do it. And yeah, so I got to be up there with him, and the winner got to sing the rest of the song at the mic stand with him.
Yeah.
So he like counts you off 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I just took off down the catwalk.
Yeah.
And I'm singing. And then like everybody starts freaking out because, I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was the only one that could carry a tune up there.
Sure.
And then the last part where it's like, I want to kiss a girl. I said, I want to kiss Keith. And I turned around and I pointed at him, and he like went like this, and he just fell to the ground. And it was great. So, that was definitely a highlight. I got
We're
to
gonna
open.
have to pull that up on YouTube and
Yeah.
put it on the podcast video.
Oh God, it's kind of long, but you could definitely edit it. But yeah, that was great. Then I got to talk to his band and stuff afterwards, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I got to, well, after that, then it landed me for the following year. I got to go to Orlando, Florida with the ATA. They wanted me to open the entire convention.
Oh wow.
And so I got to sing there. I sang at the Sunday service with my dad. We sang a couple gospel songs.
Who was the performer at the ATA that next year in Orlando?
It was Rod Stewart.
Oh, Rod Stewart.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Like
Wow.
he's old, he's kind of a few generations, but my mom was like, oh my God. But I mean, his band, his dancers, his performers, their outfits.
Yeah.
It was so, I mean, anybody that's an entertainer, even if you're not, like, you would appreciate that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the following year after that, they asked me to come down to San Diego and sing the national anthem. And
Which is where you have panic attacks.
yeah. And
Let's get back to that.
But here's the best one. In San Diego, the Freightliner dinner was up on top of one, I think it's the USS Midway aircraft carrier.
It is,
on the
yeah.
naval base.
Midway.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
Lawton's Marine.
So okay,
Yeah.
the entertainment that year was the frickin' Eagles.
No shit.
No shit.
That's tits.
It was frickin' tits.
For you, Donnie.
It was tits. But like the other ones, my parents have seen Carrie Underwood. They've seen Florida Georgia Line. They've seen Rascal Flatts. They've seen, I mean, every year they get people who are insane.
Yeah.
And so my dad will be like, hey, can you tell me who this is? And I'm like, are you shitting me right now?
That's Garth Brooks, Dad. What are you talking about?
So anyways, that's the ATA is a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
And so yeah, my parents still go, and
Y'all want to be truckers?
no, you don't. I can't.
No.
That's the upper echelon of trucking right there.
Those are fancy pants truckers.
Those are the guy that own all the trucks.
Well, last year I worked part-time for this guy that has his own small,
You want some more? You getting low there?
I'm little low.
I mean, Robin, I was looking at his. He's done.
I think Robin is done. I don't know if Robin wants another one.
But I was telling my parents, like, just figuring out, like, the weight mile tax and all the permits and all the stuff, like, to re-license your trucks every year. I mean, this guy only had, like, 6 or 7 trucks, and I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, Dad, he's like, yeah, what do you think that costs for a company? I'm like, this is robbery, like, highway robbery. I don't know. I mean, you don't have semis. You don't have things on your shelf, so
Yeah.
people got to realize that.
Yeah, it's true.
Trucks move America.
I mean, we live right here on the I-5. I mean, it's obvious.
Exactly.
I mean, they're everywhere. So they do move America for sure.
That's the ATA's thing. Truckers move America.
All right. Well, there you have it, boys. All right. So we talked on this national anthem thing, and my friends here aren't too talkative, so y'all better think of something to say. But
yeah, I don't know if you like me, if you're just looking at me like, oh, is she going to shut up soon?
I do have one question before we move on.
Yeah, let's do
You
this.
just never shut up long enough for me to get a question.
Me or
Me?
Gretchen?
No, not you. You're doing great. Him.
She's the guest. She can talk as much as she wants.
It's a good answer.
We're not there yet. How did you discover that you could sing?
Funny you ask. My mom said when I was 2 years old, she's like, I'm not even lying. My mom's my best and biggest critic, so she's always kept it 100 with me. And she said, when I was 2 years old, The Bodyguard had come out, with
Great.
Kevin Costner.
Whitney Houston got it. Yeah.
Okay.
My uncle wrote the score to that movie, by the way.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Big
Yeah.
deal. Oh, toot toot.
Yeah.
Anyways. And so we, come to Grants Pass all the time to do stuff. And we had the cassette tape and the old minivan back then. And Whitney Houston's version of I Will Always Love You would come on.
Yeah. And you used to rip it.
And and that's what I used to sing all the time. And my mom's like,
if you can sing that song, then you can sing. That song's incredible.
She was like, I heard you sing that when you were like 2 years old. And I was like, there's no freaking way. Like, you're not old enough really to know how to carry a tune. And she's like, you nailed that song. And so that's kind of the song that I would like karaoke. My dad used to have like karaoke machines and everything. And
So let's hear it.
No, I'm not singing. Are you kidding me?
Almost. That was close.
You can't put me on the spot.
She
like
thought
that.
about it.
2 drinks in before.
All right, get that pencil back over here.
So that's kind of when. And then I Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Rocky Top. So that was one that I entered a talent show, but I got so stage fright back then. But it's like now it's like, woo, let her rip. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I wasn't sure if it's like you see on these like TLC programs where like the mom enrolls the kid in the singing competition.
never had
and
that.
You're like, okay.
I never had that. Nope.
You're fine. It's not a big deal. It's got oil on it. It'll live.
Yeah.
So
It'll buff out.
I mean, on Lawton's point there. I mean, when did you start like singing for real? Like you were gonna I'm gonna pursue this. Like, because you said you went to Nashville and you recorded a demo. Like, how did that whole thing happen?
My grandpa.
Okay.
So when oh my God, it feels like I'm really old, but I'm not. But when you start thinking back on years, it's like, Jesus, it's like lots of time has gone by. I want to say that I was either, laugh it up, chuckle fuck, I'm trying to tell a story.
She needs to be on the podcast as a regular.
I think she should. I think you want to be a regular
she can just
host.
take my seat. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Do you guys get paid to do this?
No. In
Just
fact, I paid to do this.
You provide the Pendleton, then
All right, that sounds good.
Chuckle fuck.
stick that in your back pocket and use it for a rainy day.
Oh yeah.
Can I call you Steve? You kind of look like a Steve.
No.
No.
What's his real name?
Robin.
Robin, like Batman's buddy.
Yeah, rockin'.
Rockin' Robin.
Tweet. Nothing. Okay.
I think Steve would be better. Anyways, I was either in like junior high or just like freshman or I want to say it might have been like freshman or sophomore year. My grandpa probably knows. He discovered there was a recording studio, the old Wilderville Elementary School, or the Wilderville School out in Wilderville.
Uh-huh.
Bob was his name, and I think it was called Mountain View Productions. And it was a recording studio. The guy, off the top of my head, this is horrible, but I forget some of the names that he had, like gold and platinum records for that he had produced, but they were like big time. Mm-hmm. So my grandpa, we had Dave Mac Kechnie, who lived out in Cave Junction. I forget how my grandpa got associated with him. He wrote Martina McBride's first ever hit, The Phones Are Ringing, her first like platinum hit.
Okay.
He is no longer with us. He's passed away. Great guy. He has, he wrote the title track on my album, Real Good Woman, and he also wrote Broken Hearts and Beer Cans, which is on my album.
Yep.
But
we were listening to that yesterday, actually.
yeah, don't listen to that album very much. It's
What do you mean?
I don't like it.
Okay, whatever.
just-
Anyway,
I was super impressed. I thought it sounded really great.
Hey, thanks.
me too.
I don't love it.
Shut up, Chuckle Fox.
So anyways, long story short, we get involved with Bob out there, and we took I used to just sing the karaoke tracks. So took some of my favorite songs that I sing out there, and my grandpa was like, let's get them recorded. Okay. Ching. So we just recorded out there, and then just got us kind of connected with the next step. It really was my grandpa just being very persistent and like, who do we need to talk to, and who do we got to go to, and where do I need, so that's pretty cool. He and my grandpa's hands down. Like if I ever, I'm just like, you know what, I need to really get on it and get busy. But like I always have this like little pie in the sky, little tiny dream that like if I ever somehow got to go to an awards show, my red carpet date would be my grandpa.
That's cool.
Yeah, because he's in his mid-80s, and I know we're not going to have him forever, but I think that would be like the cherry on top for him with things, because he's worked really hard at getting the right people in our life to do some cool things with my music. And he never has missed a single one of my sporting events. He never did in college. He never did. The only reason my parents missed is because my brother was having his firstborn, so they missed 1 game or 2 games.
Yeah.
But my grandpa still came. He's like, oh, baby, it's fine. But no, he was still there. So he's the one that taught me how to drive a tractor, how to bale my first bale of hay, how to fix some fence, how to change the GD wheel lines for the irrigation. Sprinklers are no joke. They're stupid, but whatever. Yeah, so I used to work with him. Cool. He and I have always been pretty close. We got really close because I was working out there like every summer when school would be out, and that's what I would do for the summer is work with Grandpa. And that's why I tell everybody, they're like, man, you talk a lot. And I'm like, I learned from the best because my grandpa could bullshit a brick wall. I'm not far behind that. So.
Laugh it up, Chuckle Fox.
Yeah. I know lots of the things. People, where do you come up with these analogies? I'm like, have you ever met my grandpa? Well, no. Well, you should, because then you'd understand. It'd come full circle.
Yeah, he sounds like he's awesome.
He is. He's the one that started the trucking company, and it's still going. He's kind of, my dad, my brother, and cousins and stuff have kind of had to step up and take on more of a role. He's just getting older, but he just wants to be outside and play on his excavator. And I think he owns any type of piece of equipment you could. Mm-hmm. And he's just, doing his own hay on all of our, in all of our pastures wasn't enough for him this year. He loaded his shit up and went to Days Creek and is helping a buddy up there doing all of his hay because he just couldn't quite get it done. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like 84 years old.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But he's still getting it though. That's awesome.
Well, he's always said the day that I retire and stop doing stuff is the day that I die. So you might as well just put me in the ground. And it's like, Grandpa, we're not going to shoot you. So keep moving.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good place to come from,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I forget what I was going to ask, but I had something going and then you distracted me.
Does it have to do about the national anthem?
Yeah, I was more curious why it makes you so nervous. Is it just because
How many people do you know that have messed it up?
All of them.
Every single person.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that have sang it and you're like, God, that sounded horrible? Every single one, because it's the hardest song to sing. If you're not on key, the whole freaking crowd knows it. You can be tone deaf and still know that.
I think Leanne Rimes hit it pretty good.
I don't know, but I'm not an anxious person. I don't have anxiety attacks. I don't have panic attacks. That song will give it to me like that.
I'm sure you feel the same way every other performer does when they go do it in front of for the Super Bowl or something like that. Chris Stapleton did it for the Super Bowl last year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, best one I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
No, my cousin Jason, the one I was telling you,
yeah.
Him and Ashley have the KRRM. Well, he's the announcer at Southern Oregon Speedway for all the races. Wanted to know if I wanted to do the national anthem. And I was like, okay, yeah. My husband had to work on his boat, got a babysitter for the baby. And I'm like, my son, Riggins, he actually races his own outlaw cart. So he's so into the races. Tanner Holmes, his favorite guy in the world. Uncle Jerry's race. His dad was a racer. All this stuff. So I'm like, Riggs, we'll have a mom and son date night. Let's go to the races. So Jason's like, hey, do you want to sing it? I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know if we're going to be there on time. And he's like, okay, game time decision. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. So then we get there. And he texts me. He's like, are you here? And I was like, shit. Yes. He's like, all right. Let's do it right after qualifying. And I'm like, well, how long is that going to be? And he's like, yeah, it shouldn't be too long. And I'm like, okay. where am I going to go? Am I just going to come up there in the booth and meet you up there? And he's like,
Oh, no.
no, I'm going to come down and do the prayer in front of the flag stand, and then I'm just going to hand you the mic. And I said, you son of a bitch. And he's like, surprise. And so he did. But I will say that felt like and was one of the best times I'd ever sang the national anthem. And there's a pretty cool picture on the internet of the track photographer got one of my son Riggins, and he's standing there and he's got his pit vipers on his hat, and he's standing there with both of his hands on his heart looking up at the flag, and it's pretty precious. So that was the last time when I'm like, can I go pee? And he's like, nope, you don't have time. And I'm like, my breathing was like getting restricted. I was so nervous, but I just worry about forgetting the words. So, like, I usually pace back and forth, and I say the words, like, a million times through my head, and I feel like a crazy person whenever I have to sing that. So, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
But
do you
when
have to
I'm
sing the national anthem when you do concerts in the fairgrounds?
Nope,
No?
not my night.
Not my night.
Dang it.
Not my night. Yeah, it's coming up here, July 11th, right?
Yeah, it's coming up pretty quick, but
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a great show. I'm down my guitar player, one of them. My rhythm guitar player, Kevin Teagle.
Okay.
He is going to have major back surgery. He called me. His way of putting it, I think, is like some type of like protruding disc or something on the nerves that go into your spine or something.
Yeah.
He's a chiropractor here in town.
Okay.
And he's like, I've been trying to do all these things, but he actually had an MRI this week, Monday. I can't remember. It's Thursday. I'm on summer break. Sorry,
Today's
guys.
Thursday, yeah. And you're 2 whiskeys in.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm 1.5.
All right.
Yeah, I think it was Monday night he called me and was like, so I have some bad news. And I'm like, shit, that sucks for us because he's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, all my guys and girl, Grace, who's my keyboard player, they're very, very talented. So I think we're going to be okay. We're still going to put on a kick-ass show. But it just sucks because Teagle brings just some energy up there that's unmatched.
Cool.
Yeah. So
he's my old neighbor.
Teagus, you lived in the Mayberry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first house. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a good place.
I remember when you guys used to all come over and practice in his little.
Oh, and you're probably like,
converted
can you
garage."
shut them the
I was like, what's happening over there? I didn't know.
They're
Kevin
calling.
was in a
Here
band.
comes the world's ending.
I didn't know that. Did you know that? When you were sitting in on this?
Clearly.
He
Clearly
does,
not.
yeah. So
you know-
then you
but-
live by the Tokes too.
Yep, across the street. Yeah.
Tokes our registrar.
Small town.
Mm-hmm.
Small town stuff for sure. All right. I want to hear about the moment that you're most embarrassed about. You talked about missing the words. in some of
It's
these
happened
songs.
multiple times
Multiple
sometimes.
times.
Yeah, that sucks sometimes.
Have you seen, do you watch American Idol?
No,
No?
not really anymore.
No.
Or The Voice.
Or The Voice, yeah.
I love those shows when they first started, but I feel like they're just so like, oh, it's even better. It's like The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Oh, more drama, more.
Yeah.
It's like, how you guys are stressing me out.
You guys are stressing me out.
Like, no.
The reason why I say that is because there's this, the guy who won the most recent American Idol, his name's Ian Tongi, and he's a Polynesian kid.
Yeah.
And he's like 18 or 19 years old or something like that. And what's funny about it is he like forgets the words all the time. Like I've been watching him on YouTube and he'd be like singing and be like, oh, I screwed that up. Sorry. And then he'll like just keep going.
That's what I started doing too, is like there's been a couple times at the casino. I mean, cause I hate playing the casino only because you're scheduled for 4 hours and it's like 5 nights in a row. And last year I was doing it and I was, my son was a few months old. I was nursing exclusively. And so it's like having to pump, having to nurse, trying to get some sleep, being up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, performing for 4 hours. Like I was over it.
Yeah.
But anymore when I mess up, it's just like at first it would be like, oh my God, everybody's going to know. And then it's like, I don't really care because I just say, you got to own it. So I own it. But I will say, I was embarrassed for this performer. So this last year, we were asked to open up for this. I won't say who it was because that'll totally give it away. But we were asked to open for this band at this venue down in Medford, and we were like, okay, yeah, gonna be great. So we play our set, a little acoustic set. It was fun. It was great crowd. This other band gets up there, and the singer's singing, and she's doing her thing, and she's a cute little thing, and she's belting it out, and it was funny because like Teagle and his wife were still there, and like my parents, and they're all like, oh my God, her fly's down. Her fly is down. Everybody can see it. Her fly is down. And they're like, Gretchen, you just need to go up and tell her. I'm like, I don't really know how to do that. But, and we couldn't really hear. So like I got closer to the stage and I was like trying to tell her like, turn your mic up. Like we can't hear you. And then I was trying, she's like, oh, okay. And like would turn around and I want to be like, but really just like barn doors closed, open, you know, but I couldn't. And then finally somebody said something. She's like, thanks a lot, guys. And I'm like, oh, that would have been my worst nightmare. Like it was so, I haven't had anything like that happen, but no, there was one time I was singing at the Douglas County Fair, and I was singing during the day. I had the spot during the day, and I didn't have a band, so I just had like tracks on a CD, just play the CD, and oh yeah, shit, I forgot where I was, and so I'm just singing the same thing, and I'm like, oh God, singing the same thing, and I'm like, well, this sucks, like how embarrassing. So that sort of thing is embarrassing, but with a band, they can totally cover your tracks, and nobody really knows.
How's that?
Well, if you're good enough, you're just be like, oh, whoops, I'm singing again, and keep on. No, with a band,
and they just keep playing the same rhythm or whatever.
No, or
they do a drum solo.
Yeah, or they'll just keep go. I mean, the cool thing, at least about my guys, I don't know how it is for other people, but a really good band, I feel like, will, like, they'll listen to the singer and not just play the script.
Right.
They'll
adapt and
and that's what my guys have always done.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had to adapt when Donnie wanted to pull that freaking rabbit out of a hat at the casino last year, like a little bastard.
Donnie.
God. Yeah, he texted me like last week. He's like, hey, I heard you're going to be on the podcast. I'm like, how do you know? He's like, I just know things. Bufano's one of my good buddies. And I'm like, oh, neat.
He actually was one of the reasons why I even asked you to do it. So I ran into him and I was like, you know what? I was like, Gretchen, it'd be awesome. Like, why didn't I think of this earlier? So, yeah.
Well, thank you. I was trying to tell my mom, I'm like, can you come watch the boys? Yeah, what do you need to do? I'm going to be on a podcast. What's the purpose?
Why?
I'm like, Mom. So she was
You're
playing.
going to come back smelling like whiskey?
She was playing like 20 questions with me. And I was starting to get like a little bit pissed off and annoyed. Like, it's like a radio show. Okay, well, what's the point behind it? I'm like, I don't really know yet. I'll tell you when it's done.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'll be there.
I'll tell you when it's done.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know how much you've looked into this, but the point of the podcast is just to talk to like local people who are doing cool stuff. So that's all.
I hate to say I didn't even know you guys had this.
Yeah, it's all good.
So I'm going to have to look into it more.
Now you know.
Yeah, I know. And
it's, I mean, let's be honest, it's not super big. I mean, we do it because we enjoy doing it.
But it's fun. If you get people to promote it, then it could get bigger. It's like when my cousin Jason started doing his during COVID.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he got some cool people on there, and
I should get him on here too. That would be cool.
You should. Yeah. You should totally, because you know what?
He knows who I am. He does.
He's
introduce you 3 times in a row.
Yeah, at the Chamber Awards banquet, because I'm the Chamber Board chair, and then I got this other award, and then I had to do something else too. And well, he introduced me twice. He knows my whole story.
Yeah.
We all do. We all know it now.
Yeah.
He would be a good one. He's done some great things. He's super, it sucks because at his old radio station, they did like the radiothon for St. Jude. And I know that him and Ashley, their hearts are very much into that.
Yeah.
And at their new radio station, they don't like have the radiothon like that. But those two helped raise so much money for St. Jude. My cousin Jason was a bone marrow donor.
Oh, wow.
One time. he's it's pretty awesome. Yeah, he would definitely be a good one to have on here, I think. And you gotta tap in because his schedule's a little tight because he's now announcing for 2 speedways.
Yeah.
And he's got his wife, and they got 5 kids, and they have 4-H pigs at home.
Kids, Jesus.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole basketball team.
Way better than you.
I'm stopping at 3.
I'm stopping at 2.
Yep.
Well, and
We know about you, Lasky.
yeah, he's only got the sad thing. I feel bad for him because out of those 5 kids, 1 is a boy.
Oh,
Preston.
he's got all girls. Yeah.
The rest are all girls. It's like, oh God, that's so much estrogen. It's fun to just go over to their house and just like watch it happen because it's just so much controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love going over and hanging out, being like, Riggs, have a good time. Him and Preston just take off and do whatever. They have a sweet little piece of property, but yeah, it'd be good. They do a lot here in town, and they're involved with a lot, and they like to, bring awareness to things that should be known.
Yeah, it'd be cool to chat with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd love to do that. So, we'll have to shout out for Jason and
I
Ashley.
might have his number.
Yeah. We can get them both on here. So,
I text him like every morning because I'll like go home from the gym, listen to his radio for like 30 seconds and be like, oh, nice, blah, 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 and text him. So, yeah, we talk quite a bit.
yeah. Cool. Hook it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm curious because I played basketball. So
Okay.
were you shooting guard? Or?
And I have cakes, so I like to post up my opponent, and I had a pretty mean fadeaway post up.
Left-handed
fadeaway.
dunk.
Well, I wish for the dunk, but
Sorry.
yeah, I was a lefty too, so I use that to my advantage. But yep, I was a shooting guard. What position did you play?
None of them well. But I was 6'3", so I was always taller. So I was always a post.
So where'd you go to high school? Let's just cut the shit.
Henley.
Boo.
Clamabama.
Hey, it's better than Bonanza or Chiloquin or Lost River. Those are all teams in my league.
Yeah, right. Well, when I think they were probably a division below mine.
Yeah. Henley we were always 2A.
Yeah.
And then Lakeview even dropped down, so we got to make the trek out to friggin'
That is a long drive. Yeah, because we were doing Lakeview before that. But yeah, I started off as a post, and then I was just too soft, which everybody knows, Daniel. You don't have to say anything about it. That's too nice. So
I would have never guessed that.
it's really apparent. So I taught myself how to shoot in my junior and senior year. I was a shooting guard. Yeah.
So Lawton's actually really tall for a normal person, but his brother's like 3 or 4 inches taller than he is, and his dad, pretty tall guy too. So I call him the runt of the family because he's not.
I'm the shortest one.
He's the shortest one
on both sides.
At 6'3"?
On both sides, yeah. My mom's brothers are all 6'6" or taller.
Oh. It's ironic because I'm actually the tallest one. So, and I also played basketball for a minute, and then I just didn't grow.
Oh, were you a defensive specialist?
No, I was a point guard.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
When did you play basketball? Don't say like 5th grade because that doesn't count.
No, it was in high school.
It was in high school, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
cool.
I had a good shot, but I just didn't grow, and everybody else did, and
I know, it's kind of hard.
Stand in front of you and just put their hand up.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
My cousins
Or they just reach out and take the ball.
My cousin, she was 6 foot. She's like 6'3". She played basketball and volleyball at Northwest Christian. Set the record for blocking in volleyball. And then her brother golfed at George Fox. Boo.
On golf or George Fox?
Both.
Okay.
No, George Fox. They called us Sinfield. Whatever. We like to have fun. But he was like 6. He's like 6'6", 6'7"-ish. Like, they're freakishly tall. But everybody thinks that me and my cousin Chandler, that her and I are like sisters. And I'm like, well, I always wanted to be 6'3", like Jenny Moe, who went to the U of O, but I got screwed at 5'8". I'm not over it.
I would love 5'8".
I would love 5'8". It's all about perspective.
Linfield and Salem?
McMinnville.
McMinnville.
Yeah, it was a great time. I think I loved it so much. I went to UCC. I had a really good scholarship to go there right after Glendale.
CC.
Umpqua Community College in Winchester.
Fantastic.
Roseburg.
Yep.
Yeah, and we were really good, but there were some unfortunate things that I was like, Dad, get me the hell out of this place, away from this coach. And so then I went to Linfield, was actually the other one of the other schools that was recruiting me out of high school, but I decided to go to UCC instead. I actually looked to go back to playing softball because I was a pitcher. And so I toured a couple schools, and then I was like, you know what? My business isn't done on the court. So I went.
Sounds like it's out of a movie.
It does. Well, I wasn't done.
I went to Linfield, and I had I basically my freshman year I forgot what it was like to know how to play the game of basketball. I had just every confidence, everything just stripped. And I got to Linfield, got on campus the day before I'm moving up there. I get a call, and the coach is like, hey, by the way, I'm resigning. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, what else is going to go south? My dad's like, you just need to look at it with a positive light. Like, hey, this is an opportunity for you to go in. There's going to be a coach that doesn't really know you, like clean slate. And I'm like, okay, Dad, a glass, half full kind of dude. And he was right. And I went in there, and then I started every single game when I got to Linfield, and I had probably the best career I could have ever asked for, and put a couple knocks up there in the old record books. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. And I loved McMinnville because it reminded me a lot of Grants Pass. And, I've spent so much time in Grants Pass grocery shopping and just, doing all the things growing up. So going up there, it was like, oh, this is awesome because it's not too big.
Yeah, it's a cool town.
Yeah, it is. 3rd Street is awesome. Have you ever been to McMinnville?
I haven't.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
3rd Street is the place, it's during the, holidays. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely gorgeous. They have the UFO festival up there. It's crazy, but there's some really awesome little, restaurants and little watering holes to go in. So, yeah, and McMinnville has, every time I've gone up there since I graduated college, which is, I'm sad to say, 11 years now, it's grown so much, it's crazy. But I still have a ton of connections up there, and
you go there every year for the parade, right?
No, I haven't even been up there in a couple years. I feel bad saying that, but it's #mom life,
Yeah, of course. I want to hear about some of these records you broke, like technical fouls or
elbows thrown, noses broke. Just kidding. I was second in scoring. All-time scoring. The girl, I was 70 points behind the leader. That girl set the record in 4 years. I hit my mark in 3 years. So I feel like if I would have had one more year.
Yeah, you'd have got it.
I had the record for free throw percentage, I believe it was. And then I was top in minutes played, rebounds.
Scrappy.
I just play hard or don't play at all, man. So.
How tall is your husband?
He's 6'2".
All right. So your boys will be
it's
on the court.
Our son's already a freak. Caveman football is his thing. Every time we drive by the field on A Street, he's like, Mom, when is there going to be caveman football games? And I'm like, buddy, we got a few months. He's like,
how old is Rickens now? 6?
He's 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah. He eats, breathes, sleeps, caveman sports. So I coached his basketball and his baseball this year, and it's funny because my mom growing up, we used to give my mom so much shit because she'd be like, okay, guys, let's all just be a good sport. It's all about sportsmanship. And we're like, no, it's about winning. The sportsmanship trophy goes to the losers. And so that was the running joke. And basically our entire town of Glendale would be like, oh, Kath, look, that team got the sportsmanship trophy. They also finished last, Yeah. And so my mom's told me hey, Riggs is a little bit competitive. And I'm like, yeah, we're raising a winner. Okay. And Rayson's not far behind him. And
Walker, Texas Ranger, get over here.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't my parents, they never forced me to like sports. They never forced me to play. it was just, hey, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it, with 100%. And we're the exact same way. I mean, we're going to go to the river here this afternoon, and Riggs is like, Mom, can I bring my bat to hit rocks across the river? Oh, sure, buddy. We went to Glendale last night to my nephew's playoff baseball game, and he was gone the whole time, involved in a serious wiffle ball game, and his dad will get home from work. Dad, can we play tackle football in the front yard? It's like, okay. The owner of Highland Market, Dan, homeboy, he knows that Riggs is such a freak about sports. He gave Riggs a Coors Light field goal stand. No beer involved.
What's that?
Start him early.
Yeah, he asked for a tackling
That's how you
dummy.
raise a winner.
That's how you raise one. You give him Coors Light.
No, we're not drinking Coors Latte. It's like freaking water flavored beer. Beer flavored water, I mean. Beer flavored water. But yeah, so
What's your beer of choice then?
I don't drink beer. I drink whiskey. That's it.
All right.
Sometimes if I'm desperate, I'll drink like a hard seltzer. But if I've already had whiskey, shit goes south. Like, I just need to stick to what I know, and it's this.
All right.
Yeah. So my husband was a great athlete. I was told that he could hit a ball very, 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 very far on a baseball field. Uh-huh. So
throw a football over a mountain range.
Yeah.
No, that's me.
Throw a football over a quarter mile.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what our boys want to do. And Riggs, he is super competitive. He races his outlaw carts. I'll have to show you guys a picture before I leave of him on his cart. But we do that all winter, and it's great. It's at Roseburg. It's inside the old goat barn at the fairgrounds, and he's getting good. He started when he was 4, and last year he finished the season at 5, and him and his best buddy are they're going to be a force to be reckoned with this year, I think.
Yeah.
So it'll be awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch your kids grow up.
6 in a year and a half. Is that the age?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to. I had a miscarriage in between there. Otherwise, they would have been a little bit closer. But everything happens for a reason, and there's something wasn't totally great. So, but yeah, Racing is already trying to do everything his brother does, and I don't know how my husband's mom raised 4 of those hood boys.
Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty interesting. Like you talk about, like, glad you don't have girls. Lawton and I both have girls, and like, I just find that do you find that Isla's definitely easier than Lincoln? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Just like, I mean,
but I can see from like a mother's perspective of like, oh, I was a hellion, I'm gonna get a hellion.
I'm just worried about me because I know how, like, don't ask my husband about this, or my mom and dad, or my brother,
okay, we
or
won't,
sister,
we
or
won't
sister-in-law.
Take this
But
part out.
no.
I was a lot. I was a lot, and I wouldn't say that I was like necessarily like a prima donna, because I don't think it was necessarily like, oh, I'm super bougie and all the things, but I just, like, if I was gonna do something, I was gonna do it big, and I'm just like, ugh, if I were to get a girl, I'm just scared. My mom's like, you guys just need to try for one more because you really need to get that payback. And so it's like, my mom's saying that, I'm like, well, shit. And Riggs, our first one, it's like, he was the easiest. Even my brother and my sister-in-law, they have 3 boys. And their youngest one and Riggs are exactly 3 months. Are you going to yawn?
I'm trying not to, but now that you called me out, god damn.
I'm still interested. Keep going.
Thank you.
Called me out on my own fucking show.
Well,
jeez.
Cheers.
I'm leaving. Lawton, you got this?
I got it. See you later.
But I remember when we had Riggs, and like, he started sleeping through the night at 7.5 weeks old, and then he would take 2 super long naps in a day, and he was just always happy, and we could just put on a movie, and he would sit in his little recliner we got for him and just watch it, and I could just. And my brother's like, "You're a bitch." Like, we're on number 3, and we finally got one that kind of sleeps through the night, and I'm like, "I don't know how you did it," and he's like, "Yeah." And Keisha's like, my sister-in-law, she's like, "Well, Gretchen, God knew." God knew that you had to have a kid that sleeps. Otherwise, you'd probably lose your mind. And I said, well, there you go. You're spot on. And then our second one, Race wasn't quite as easy as Riggs, but people are still like, oh, my God, you guys are so spoiled, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, really? We we are. Like, 'cause even after him, my husband's like, we're not having another one. I'm like, do you realize that he's really not that bad? He still takes like a 3-hour nap a day, sleeps 9 to 10 hours a night. Like, but it's just, so, I mean, we definitely got spoiled, and it's like, okay, well, we saw how it started and how Race went. He was just a little bit harder. I think if we had a third, it would probably come out a girl with super curly hair like I had, and she would be hell on wheels. Yeah. And that's a risk we're not willing to take.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
I feel like my kids are pretty, Bo is, I wouldn't call him a hellraiser, but he does get into everything.
How many do you have now?
I have 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. Yeah.
Those are fun ages, and they're closer, so that's got to be fun. Camaraderie.
And they're best friends. Like, they get along really well. Lawton has 3 kids. He also has a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. His daughter's 5, just like mine, and his son is 3, just like mine.
And a 9-month-old.
And a 9-month-old. But his 5 and his 3-year-old are not best friends.
It's getting better.
It's getting
what
better.
Do you have? Like 1 boy, 2 girl? What
Girl,
do you have?
boy.
Oof. Yeah.
Yep.
I just crack up because, like, being around friends or family that have girls, and like just even my own niece, it's just funny sometimes because she'll be like, so and so and I aren't friends anymore, and I'm like, all right, tell her to shut up, like, move on, that's her fault, you know. And I'm just like, just the personality differences. Like, Riggs is concerned that his freaking favorite pair of basketball shorts aren't clean, and then he has a hole in his sock, and it's like he could give a shit about, you know, so it's just kind of funny the way that those things go.
Yeah. But they're all different.
Totally.
You know? Like, I feel like Junie and Isla even are just far different, but far similar in a lot of ways too. So it's just I don't know, it's just different for everybody. So
girls are sweet, they're sensitive, but also sometimes it's annoying and they overdo it. And
I don't know. Rick's super extra. Rick's can be a mama's boy, and then sometimes it's like his brother Race, who's 1.5, like, okay, cool. He'll freaking fall down and hit his head on the concrete, and he cries and is like, well, shit, that hurt. Riggs gets a hangnail sometimes, and it's like, holy shit, the world's ending. And I'll be like, Riggs, suck it up. Like, what are you doing? And his dad will be like, quit crying. Just shut up.
Try this trick. This one gets my kids to stop crying every single time. They'd be like, oh, hangnail. I'll be like, all right, go get the scissors. I'm going to cut that thing off.
Yeah, we pull that too. We're going to get the saw. We're going to have to amputate.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, fine.
No, don't do it.
My favorite one is like whatever they ran into, be like, oh my God, you dented the coffee table with your head. I can't believe you did that. And they're like, oh, what? Really? And I'm like, oh my, the coffee table's hurt. And then they just forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yep. Yeah. No, this is fun. This conversation has evolved. We didn't hardly talk about music at all, other than a little bit, which is totally cool. Yeah.
I'm sure she does enough of that you're like,
yeah.
Hey, we're speaking of music, we have concerts in the fairgrounds, but then we also got the nod to open for Colt Ford at the fair, so we'll be there too. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So crank it up.
You gotta find will Teague will be back by then, or
I don't think so, but.
You're going to get a new guitarist then?
No, I'm not. I can't replace Teague. He's irreplaceable. I think we'll be okay. Luckily, I think we'll be okay. We'll just be better with him back.
Okay.
Oh, so you're just going to go without?
Yeah, we just had a show that he actually, funny enough, he couldn't be at because he had to move his own daughter home from college. And so we're like, okay, well, it would be more work to try to break in a new one because it's just a lot of material and all the things. And it's like, is it really worth it? I've already got enough gray hairs. Silver foxes is what I refer to them as. So, yeah, I wasn't going to mention that he's white, but you have some salt and pepper in there, too. So watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
It's all the goddamn stress we got. Honestly, when I first met Lawton, he had quite a bit of gray, but ever since we had kids, he's gotten a lot grayer.
I saw a picture of me 7 years ago, and my beard was 100% red.
Yeah.
7 years ago.
And now you're white as white gets.
Yeah.
My husband's just trying to hold on to his hairline.
Yeah.
Oof.
Because he's sorry, rough subject.
No, it's fine.
I got no problem with that.
Oh, okay, hat hair.
Yeah.
Put it away.
Put it away.
Nobody wants to see that.
That's what she said.
Well, he went there, and now we're all gagging.
All right, that's a good note to end on. So No, I don't want to.
What are all these trinkets you got here?
Yeah, so
Enjoy
those are
one free drink. Oh, Weekend Beer Co.
Yeah, we don't drink beer, so don't take that.
I don't drink beer.
Yeah, no, I got some stickers in there from some Hometown Hustle stickers. We got some trinkets.
How cute are
People
these?
leave cards.
Yeah, people leave cards. We hand those little tokens out. We hand those out to clients, potential clients, just
Yeah.
as like if people are in town, be like, hey, stop down at Weekend, grab a beer, get some
Yeah.
tacos or some pizza or whatever. And it's kind of just a way to introduce people to the community and kind of give them a little something.
Did you
when
see
they
the
get here.
Catalyst just opened up their new restaurant?
Yeah, I haven't been there though.
Me neither, but I gotta go.
Yeah, Catalyst is
Their
the bomb.
vodka sauce is the shit.
Why am I not
is-
surprised by
If
that?
you hate money and love pizza, that's the place to go.
I heard somebody complain to them one time so hard, and they ended up comping their pizza. And the guy was just a dick, and he's like, "You guys took so long," and blah blah. And I want to be like, "He's in a fucking food truck. Like he doesn't have a giant pizza oven. You ordered large pizzas, 2 of them. So like if you're
And there's 100 other people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I called in and you said it was going to take 20 minutes and it took 40. I'm sorry, your pizza was probably piping hot instead of colder than a miner's ass in the Klondike.
Yeah.
They're bad. Anyways, I do like that place.
It's a great pizza.
Yeah, I'm gonna
is
take.
great.
Can I take one of these?
You can have
Hometown
plenty.
Hustle.
Yes, you can
I'm
have
gonna put
several.
it on the old Stanley.
The old Stanley steamer?
Yeah.
No.
Guitar?
That's her
Oh,
cup.
that's my thing. This is my son's sticker. See, he's the number A1. That's his cart. Riggs Hood.
Yeah. Love that.
It's a cousin. That's Musser Stillwater Farm.
Musser Stillwater Farm.
They bought a property, in fact, from somebody I think here in your office.
Okay.
And yeah,
Not me.
no, a close friend of theirs, but
It's probably Heather.
yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, they named it the Stillwater Farm because they're right on the Stillwater on the river, and it's amazing. Yeah, we had the Stillwater Farm Farmageddon 2023 camp out Memorial Day weekend, and the theme was slapping ripples.
Slapping ripples.
Great. Chuckle fucks and slapping ripples.
Chuckle fucks and slapping
Weren't
ripples.
slapping my ripples, I'll tell you that.
So did you change your last name when you got married?
I did. Yeah, my husband is a hood, so yes, I don't know. I still go by Owens with my music.
It's a stage name.
Yeah.
It sounds very country music too.
Yeah. I just
Gretchen Hood, you could get in a rap or something.
yeah, well, I'm from the hood. Yeah, I feel very strongly about, when somebody gets married, I think that
Yeah.
it's a thing.
We're
so
not criticizing you.
no, so it's a very traditional thing, I guess, and so I gave my husband shit a little bit. I'm like, so what if I just do like Owens -Hood? And he's like, really? And I just tried to do it to get his goat because it's like, of course I'm going to take his last name for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My wife gave me some stuff about it too, but she actually changed her name she hyphenated her middle name to include her last name. So her full name is Shannon Jaden Dinsmore Buffano.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a lot for sure. So I just say Jaden in the middle, so I don't even bother with that Dinsmore business.
JD. Daniels.
Reject it.
Well, we got some mail one time, and
This
on
guy
it,
named his kid Jameson. So
are you Irish?
Maybe a little bit.
We are in my family, but yeah,
it's Kentucky whiskey.
what was I just going to tell
That's
you?
Canadian.
That's Canadian.
Is it Canadian?
Get
Yeah, it
a
is.
clue for God's sakes.
God, I don't drink whiskey. These guys know how much I love
Kentucky
whiskey.
and Canada look very similar. when
It's a
spelled
blended
out.
whiskey.
It's a blended whiskey. A lot
Do you
of it.
sit down when you pee?
Yes, actually.
Point proof.
there.
She's freaking blowing me up on my own podcast.
Daniel's all about colon health, so he also
God damn it. All right.
Camp Colin Trying to put this sticker on. Oh my god! Shut up.
Man, dude, you guys freaking killing me, bro. All right, Gretchen,
Dang,
I'm putting a wrap on this thing. So we're
Yeah, probably. What time is it? My mom's probably like, what in the hell?
yeah, no, it's 2:20, so
She has errands to run.
it's not that bad. No, but I really appreciate you doing this.
No, it's fun. Thank you guys. It was honestly the last thing I expected. Like when you popped into my DMs.
Yeah, slid into your DMs.
No,
Yeah,
I was like, really? Like,
Yeah.
okay, like I would love to, but why me?
Yeah.
So, no, I appreciate it. It's been fun, and I think it's cool to just get together after quite a few years. Shit, I haven't seen you in so long.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
There you were, my personal trainer, and now you're not.
No, I'm not. Yeah, not doing that anymore. That's for sure. But no, those days were fun, and I enjoyed spending time with you then, and I just think you have a cool story just with all your music and things like that, and we didn't touch any on your special ed stuff, which I think is really important. It's a cool thing that you do, and so, but it's all good. It's fun having you on here and catching up, like you said. So
thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
It's nice meeting Steve and just kidding. Robin.
Whoever I am.
Lawton.
Sir Robin of Naughty. I think I put that name Lawton.
Well, his middle name's Brett, and he went his whole life, and he's like, I didn't even know you could use your middle name.
I'll just start going by Brett.
Yeah.
Lawton.
No, Lawton's way
Of the
better.
Loxley.
Lawton of Loxley.
You know Robin Hood Men in Tights? That's
God.
exactly what I think.
I love that movie. So I'll accept it.
For Men in Tights. Tight. Okay, we're trying to wrap this thing up. Sorry. Squirrel.
All right. Yeah, squirrel. All right. Hopefully we get this out before July 11th, but people can check you out at Concerts in the Park.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to get these out, but yeah, go check out Concerts in the Park with Gretchen Owens and the Jake Breaks. Mm-hmm. And
you didn't even ask me how I got my band name.
Well, shit, we're not done yet, so let's go. How'd you get your band name? Does it have to do with your ATA?
Well, no. Well, it has to do with the family business, but all of our trucks have the pirate on the side of them.
Yeah.
For A&M Transport.
Yeah.
And so
those are your trucks? Your family
they're
trucks?
not mine.
Yeah, well,
but
kinda.
they're somebody's in my family's. Yes, those are ours.
Cool.
And,
I see them all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that pirate, his name is Jake, and he's like the guardian of the highway.
Right.
As my grandma said, that he's not a mean pirate; he's a nice pirate.
Yeah, he's not an ass pirate.
Yeah. Nope. So I just thought it was necessary because I come from a family of truckers, and so and then the Jake break on
A truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, but that pirate's name is Jake, so I thought that it was kind of cool to have the Jake breaks.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
got more than one meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we opened up a whole other can of worms. How did you form your band? How did that all work? Like, how did you get
Just
Teagle
this person
and
knows
Donnie
this
and
person who knows this person, and this person can't anymore. So, hey, I think I have a guy over here, and hey, this person knows somebody, and I think so. Just,
Yeah.
My band started up in Eugene, and then just kind of through.
It's gone south since then.
It's actually gone really good.
Nice work, Lotto.
Did you get that?
I got it. Yeah. Good job, buddy.
Did you get your own joke?
Pretty good, man. That's pretty good for you. This guy's a crayon eater, by the way.
My son was watching Billy Madison yesterday and is like, Mom, why is he putting that stuff in his mouth as he's eating the tub of glue? Like, don't do that, School Rex. Anyways, well, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you being here.
Good time. And get out July 11th and come and see us. 6:30 to 8:30. We'll be at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Don't forget your bottle.
Don't forget your bottle.
Oh.
You probably have a few of those at home.
I know a few, but
A few empty ones.
there you go.
There you go. There you go. Thanks, Gretchen.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
All right. That's a wrap.
Thank you.